Hey, what's going down, glute dopers? Dr. Timu, SoCal Bike PT. Welcome to week 3, stage 15, where we start diving into part 1 through 5 of the actual exercise glute doping program prescription stuff to work on, because last week in the assessments we figured out what we're not the best at. So we found areas of opportunity to then put in a bunch of work to then get better at those things, so that riding bikes, A, doesn't hurt, B, you ride bikes better, and C, you can ride bikes for as long as you want, your whole life if you want to. And that's the goal. That's my goal. Your goals may be different, but that's a great goal. So in keeping with the theme of let's go through 5 assessments, each one of those looked at some kind of different thing. Well, now we're going to dive into what those things are and how to work on them. So for part 1, last week we did the single leg squat test. All right, that was like the stand on one leg and you got to go down and it's kind of wobbly. And this is a really hard test because there's so many things going on. First of all, we get you on one leg, which is already hard. So we're looking at balance here. In order to go down and back up, you have to have a lot of frontal plane stability. You don't want to fall over left and right. Your knee is going to be kind of wobbly if you don't have control at the hip. And that's fine, because now we're going to work on it. So the single leg squat test, we looked at the big categories of things we looked at. Mind you, we could go into like the little tiny stuff down to your big toe, your ankle, your knee, but the big things that really matter, the low-hanging fruit, gets the best bang for your buck when it comes to being a glute doper and doing glute doping program stuff, is frontal plane stability. That's this plane, that's lateral movement. So if you did the single leg squat test and you kind of like dropped, your hips really dropped as you went down and this was hard to maintain level, that's why. The second part, the big one is the glute strength and control. All right? Strength meaning ability to generate force. We know that because we learned that in the first week. And then control or stabilization, which is the ability to resist motion. So as you're squatting up and down, if that knee was getting even a little bit wobbly and you had a lot of difficulty controlling that and you felt like your hips were dropping, you just couldn't, no matter how hard you tried to keep that level, a big part of it's actually strength. You may be lacking the fundamental strength to do that. And that's okay, we're gonna work on that. If you had some strength but you couldn't kind of coordinate the control part of it, well, that's also a problem because we need all of that together. So with all the assessments, now they kind of fall into a category that you are going to then put into your program to start you on. So as we go into the glute doping program material later, you know where to start because you've gone through all the hard part of like figuring out why we're going to do this stuff. What are my areas of opportunity I need to work on and how do I start? But then beyond this, there's going to be levels of progressions and integrations to other full body movements and higher level complexity stuff, more in the performance realm. The sky's the limit, but it starts here. All right. So today's stuff is in the category of activations. Activation stuff. Always be activating. What we're talking about here is increasing muscle recruitment to drive better control. That's it. That's what we're doing. Increase muscle recruitment, meaning brain says but and glutes need to turn on and do their job better, strength and control, to drive better control. If you can't have the strength because you can't make that connection to say turn on, you can't use the strength to then try and resist your movement so you don't have the control, which means you're not going to pedal efficiently, which means your knee's going to get in all sorts of crazy movements, not be efficient, and maybe painful. We're going to stop that. So activations, our goal here is to get the glute fired up. Like literally, I want this right here, belt line and out, down and back, all that should be like, woo, I feel that burning. I'm ready to go put in some work. Activation complete. That's our goal here, all right? So just with the assessments last week, if you tested poor, fair, or good, we went through and gave you feedback on that. Now we can pick the appropriate level of activation exercise that would fit where you are at on the single leg squat test. Pretty cool, right? I know. This is what we do, but now you can do it yourself. Yay, good job, you. So if you're poor, meaning like one, you just fell over, poor. Or as you go, it's like so wobbly, it's just insane. Your knees all over the place, you can't even get low enough, and oh, wow, I can't even complete one. Or you do one, but they just look so unstable that you gave yourself a fair, but really it's kind of on the low side of poor. Start with the level 1 stuff. That's fine. Start with poor stuff. It shouldn't say poor. It should say, let's do this. It should be level 1, 2, and 3. It's way cooler than be like, you're poor. So start with the level 1 stuff. It's always okay to start a level lower than you kind of think you may be at. All it does is put in great activation work and drive the connection as we move forward. So it's okay to start a little lower than you think and then work your way back up. It's not okay to go to the higher level stuff just to feel cool and suffer through it, because practice makes permanent. So if you practice doing the higher level stuff and you're not able to tolerate it yet, and you do it like crap, you're going to reinforce your nervous system's natural way of doing stuff also like crap. Make sense? Okay, so if we're level 1, we're going to look at side-lying abduction is the exercise, coupled with knee side planks. Okay? We'll show you those, but that's what it is. Side-lying abduction, knee side planks. You will need some kind of resistance band. All right? Get a set of a medium, a light, a medium, a hard, an extra hard. I have the bands that we use in the clinic, but if you have any of them, just be consistent so you can gauge your progress. But you need a band. If you were fair on the single leg squat test, meaning you could complete it, wasn't pretty, but you could complete it, had some hip drop, had some knee kind of moving, had difficulty like stabilizing, especially lower, okay, you're on your way. For those, we're going to look at knee side plank clams. Also need a band. And hydrants. All right, so I'm going to show you those too. That'll be your activations that you start with because you're fair. Now, if you knocked it out of the park and you're good, or you're on the high side of fair, or you think you're good, or if I told you, hey, you're great, like, dude, you're awesome, but we still need some work to do because it was there, but it was like a little drop. Remember, these little things count up. They add up after 10,000 pedal strokes. So good. We're going to do the surfer squat series. I'm going to show you that one. You also need a band. There's the theme here. Band work is huge when it comes to doing activation exercises. All right, so that's how we take the single leg squat test results, highlight the things we're working on, highlight the category of intervention, the thing we're going to do. There's exercises, there's stretches, there's mobility techniques, there's all sorts of whatever words you're going to describe. They're all called interventions. We're doing something to change our body, a different input to drive a different output. This category is activations, and these are the 3 levels. Your level 1, you were tested poor on the single leg squat test. We're going to do side-lying abduction and knee side planks. Bam, that's your activations. Throw that in your program. If you're fair, we're going to do knee side plank clams and hydrants. Bam, throw that in the program. That's your activations, baby. If you're good, you ready to rock and roll? Glute Doper Life, Surfer Squat Series. We'll join on that one right now.